It's Sunday. It must be Sunday dinner with Chef Joe. Hey everybody, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Massachusetts. But of course you can't tell because we're inside. But it was cold. It was you know me, I like to start our show with the weather. So this, as normal, it was a typical November New England day here today. It was cold. It was really crisp this morning. In fact, there was definitely frost on the pumpkin this morning. And we also, oh my goodness, we had leaves everywhere. I spent literally at least half of the day today just trying to tackle at least the front yard of leaves. I still got the backyard. Anyways, we're here. We're only 2 Sundays out from Thanksgiving. So I thought, what a better way to do our show, but to get you guys ready for Thanksgiving. So today we're going to work on appetizers. Our next week's show, we're going to work on side dishes and dessert. All right? Now, before we get started, I wanted to do a little housekeeping here. So, a couple of things. This is all for you guys, all right? So first and foremost, some of my biggest fans are starting to send me pictures of the food that they're making from my recipes that they watched on the show, which I think is fantastic and I love it. So, and first of all, a shout out for that goes to Rachel. Rachel is one of my top fans. I'm sure she's screaming right now because she's listening to this. But Rachel she did a recipe. She sent it in. I looked at it, I went, wow, this came out great. So I'm going to post it. It was the lamb, and I'm going to post it. And then what I'd like to do is if you guys make any of these recipes, take pictures of it, send it in to me, and I'll post it on the Facebook page, on the Chef Joe Louie Facebook page. How's that? All right? Now, the other thing that I want to do is, just so you guys know, you guys have been so good and so loyal for fans. We are averaging right now about 3,000 views a week right now. Last week we did 3,500. Week before was like 3,200. So we're running around 3,000 or a little over a week. The way to get us to the next level is you guys. So I want you guys to share this video. If you like it, share it. Share, share, share. Now, I'm going to give you a little incentive to share. If you share it and I see that you share it, I will send you a recipe. And I'm going to send you one of the recipes that we're making today. And I'm going to send it directly to you so you have your own recipe. And I'm hoping as we get down in the future, we're going to be able to do that. Now, I'm getting ready to start, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little off right now. So I think it must be time for What's Joe Drinking? That's right. Now, today, Joe is drinking. This is amazing, okay? So, my buddy Reggie gave me this. This is black ice rum. It is from the Cape Verdean Islands. It is a black rum, and it is brand new to the United States. This literally came straight over from the Cape Verdean Islands, and this rum is real. I can't wait to try this. This rum is I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it. So hold on. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I get the molasses. I'm getting some other flavors in there. I'm getting some sweetness. Oh my God, this is like candy. Seriously. Oh wow. Anyways, we're going to be able to make some really good rum. This rum is really good. These guys are doing some great things, and I want to thank Reggie. Thank you, Reggie, for sending this. And if you want to find out where you can get it, or I don't know where it's being distributed yet, but if if you're interested in it, hit me up and I'll get you with Reggie, because this stuff is the bomb. The bomb! All right, I know. Enough talking. Let's cook. All right, so the first thing we're going to make today is a baked brie. Baked brie is a staple at my family Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so we're going to make a baked brie today. I'm going to show you how simple it is. So we're going to start off we have here a brie. So you could use any kind of brie you want. It depends on what kind of brie you like. This actually is a camembert, which is a French, traditional French brie. The real big difference between camembert and regular brie really is the flavor. This stuff has a lot of, it's very strong. You know when you say those smelly cheeses? Camembert is one of those smelly cheeses. All right, so we're going to make this baked brie. So let's start off. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So the easiest way to do it is we're going to take our brie and we're going to we have a puff pastry. All right, these are puff pastry sheets. You can buy them in any grocery store. Okay, and we're going to open this up just like that. Okay, now we're going to bring this over here. Now, the next thing we want to do is we always want to put some kind of jam or marmalade or something like that on it. And since we're doing Thanksgiving, what's better than like some kind of cranberry, right? Well, it just so happens that I have some orange cranberry marmalade, or jam, sorry, and we're going to put that on over the top of it. That rum is really good, by the way. Really good. Too good. All right. There. So we have you put that on top, and that's about maybe 2 tablespoons of jam. Put any kind you want. At Christmas time, we usually do fig. So that's what we do on that time. Now, we're going to need to close it up. But what we're going to do is first we're going to take the side that has the jam on it, and we're going to flip that over onto the puff pastry, okay? Now, what we're going to do from this point is we need to seal up our puff pastry. So I always like to use the tin, the paper, the kind of whatever, I don't know, what is this made of? Like some kind of wood or something. But I like to use a little corner of it to use that as a marker because what I'm going to show you, what I like to do with it is you want to make sure you get the puff pastry over the top of your cheese. So I go over here to the 2 corners and I cut out a little half a moon or half circle from each one and put that on there just like that. And that guarantees that we're going to do it. Now, from that point on, we're going to just seal up our puff pastry just like this. And again, you can trim it even more if you want, but listen, who doesn't like puff pastry? So why would you trim it? The more the bread, the better. Yeah, I see it. I have an assistant here doing my camera angle, telling me what I'm missing. All right, once we get it like that, you want to flip it back over. Okay, right? Looks pretty good. Now, you want to add an egg wash to it. So all this is 1 beaten egg with about a tablespoon of cold water. And you're just going to brush all your dough. You're going to puff your pastry just like that. Make sure you want to try to get it all, because what you don't want is you don't want to miss a spot and then it doesn't look as nice and shiny and pretty. All right, we got it? Great. Now, we just take it and we're going to put that in a 375 degree oven for 30 minutes. All right, so we got that. All right, while that's cooking, let's get on to another item we're going to make. And the next thing we're going to make is we're going to work on our meatballs. All right, so we're doing today, again, it's Thanksgiving. Sorry if I take a couple more sips of this great rum. I'm drooling everywhere. This stuff is so good. Holy cow. All right, the next thing we're going to work on is our meatballs. So we're making a cranberry meatball. And you're like, cranberry meatballs? And I'm like, yeah, cranberry meatballs. Now, what it calls for is 2 pounds of ground beef. But what we're going to do is you can make it vegetarian if you want. And some people are like, why? And other people are like, cool. Well, we're eating in our house a little healthier these days. So, and I've been using a lot more plant-based faux meats, as they're called. So we're going to use, I'm using 2 pounds today of Beyond Meat, or from Beyond Burgers, okay? So that's what this is. This is the Beyond, all right? And then in there I've added two eggs, 1/3 of a cup of dry breadcrumbs, a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of thyme. And we're going to literally just mix this all up really well, because we're making our meatballs. And again, you can use regular meat, you can use pork if you like, you can use veal if you like, anything, any kind of ground meat. You could probably use lamb if you like, any kind of ground meat, or you can use a plant-based meat if you like we're doing here. All right, so we've mixed all that up, and now what you want to do is you want to take it and you're going to make them into meatballs, just like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to, let's, before we do that, let me take this off. So I'm going to add a little olive oil to our pan. So what we're using is, we're going to use a, this is a, what they call a Dutch oven. And we're going to put in maybe about a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. I've got it heated up right now. And then what we're going to do is, let me grab some more gloves so we can make them more meatballs. The meatballs. All right. So you're like, wait, where's the cranberry in these meatballs? We're getting there. Don't worry, we're getting there. So what you want to do is, you can make them any size you want. So, you know, if you want to make them more cocktail size, which is probably what you want, you're just going to make them into a ball. It's probably better if I don't use the glove. All right, so turn this down a little bit, and then we're going to just sear them in our pan. Just like that. Can you get it in there to see what it looks like? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to sear them in the pan just like that. And you're going to just keep doing this. Now, depending on what size you're doing, you can get a lot of meatballs out of 2 pounds of meat. You could get as many as like 50 or so out of these, depending, again, what size you're going with. All right. Couple more. I'll do a couple more so we can get on to our next item. One more. All right. I'll make the rest later. And I'll show you guys later when the finished product. Okay. Let me just wash my hands off real quick. Now, what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to keep an eye on those meatballs. And all we want to do is we want to sear them. And then we're going to sear these, and then we will come back to them. Hang on 1 second. Let me grab a tongs. Oh, I'll use these. This will work. All right. So as you can see, we're just browning them. You can see the browning. Can you getting the browning in there at all? Oh yeah, there we go. Some nice browning happening. Beautiful. So what you want to do is you want to brown these all around. Now, because I'm using a plant-based meat, I don't have to make sure that it's completely cooked through before we go to the next step. Because we're going to also cook these, we're going to add more ingredients to our meatballs because they're not done yet. All right, one more. Flip over here. All right, so while we're searing those off, let's get over and start working on our eggplant and red pepper dip. So we're working with, we have 1 eggplant and we have one red pepper. What I did with these is I took a fork and I poked holes all the way around them, and then I brushed some olive oil on them, and I put them on a pan in the oven at 375, the same 375 oven, for about 45 minutes. And then when they were done, I put them in this bowl, and I put plastic wrap on them to cool. And this is what they look like when they're done. All right, so this has been roasting for 45 minutes in the oven. So from that, now we're going to let me grab another cutting board. All right. So what we're going to do now with this is we're going to take this out, and we're going to we're going to take out all the guts of the pepper and of the eggplant. Okay, so we want to get rid of all the seeds. You don't want the seeds in there. Okay. All right. But we're going to keep the rest of it. So we're going to we want the flesh. All right. We definitely want the flesh. Now, look what's great about when you put plastic wrap over it is you can also get the skin to peel right off of your pepper, so that your pepper dip is not, our eggplant pepper dip won't have as much that skin all over it. All right, so I'm just peeling that right off. You can use a towel if you like to help peel it off. All right. Look at that, it just peels right off. It's great. Okay. One more? One more. All right. So we're going to just take this stuff, and we don't need this anymore, so we're going to get rid of that. All right, and then we're going to grab our eggplant, and we're going to cut the top off, and we're going to cut the bottom off, and then we're going to cut it lengthwise, just like that. All right, and then we are going to scoop out the middle. Let me look at all the liquid that came out of that when they were cooling. All right, so we are going to scoop all this out now, just like this, scooping it right out. Okay, this is the best part of the eggplant, as we all know. So you want to get as much of it as you can. We don't need the skin. Right. Just like that. And then, we're not done. Let me go back and make sure my meatballs don't burn up. Grab a plate for my meatballs. Alright, let's grab a plate to take these meatballs off real quick. Alright, we're going to take these out now. So these have all browned up, as you can see, for the most part. But that's okay, because we're not done cooking yet. Alright. So we're going to let those cool for a minute while we go back to our eggplant. So again, we're scooping it all out. As you can see, it really comes right out. If you work at it, you can really pull the skin right off. Works great. Just throw that right in the sink for right now. All right. Get it all? Beautiful. All right. Next, we are going to, we've done all that. We've cut up, and we're going to chop up our peppers real quick. A nice rough chop. And again, you don't have to be real fancy with it, because again, we're going to be putting all this in a food processor in a minute. Now, that olive oil that I told you about, here's the olive oil, the rest of it, and we're going to pour that into this saute pan. So I use this, okay, so there's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil in there. And we're gonna go now and sear all that in the olive oil, okay? Cool. We're moving here. Okay. And then we're going to saute that for 5 minutes. We're going to saute that for 5 minutes, all right? So, while we're waiting for this to saute, all right, and I always, when I'm sauteing, I always like to throw a little salt and pepper into my sautés, because you want to start right from the beginning. All right, we're going to let that just cook off for a few minutes. Now, let's go back to the meatballs. All right, now, for the meatballs, we're going to add, back in now, we're going to stir in our liquid ingredients. And we're going to put in, so here I have a can of the good old-fashioned Thanksgiving favorite, especially with the children out there, good old-fashioned Ocean Spray cranberry gel. That's puppies going right in. Ah, listen to that. All right? Then, we're throwing in 1 jar, 1 12-ounce jar of Heinz chili sauce. Okay, got that. Then we have 1/4 cup of orange marmalade. Orange marmalade's going in. And as you can see, we're mixing the whole thing up. All right, orange marmalade is in. Great. Next, we are putting in, we're going to put in about 1/4 cup of water. 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to put in 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. 1, 2, and 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Can you tell this has some flavor, guys? That's it. All right, there's 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. All right, we got that in. And then about a teaspoon of dried red pepper flakes. I have some great dried red pepper flakes that some friends of mine that are the most amazing growers gave me. So these are actually from last year, and they still pack a punch. So I'm just gonna, these are really super hot, so we're gonna just throw a little bit of that in there. Okay? Now, we're going to mix all this up. All right? We want to get all that mixed well. Get that cranberry gel to melt down. While that's doing that, I'm going to have another sip of that great black ice rum, man. A little dangerous. All right, now we're going to take our meatballs and we're going to throw them right back into our sauce. And then we're literally going to bring that up to a simmer, and you're going to let those simmer now for about 5-10 minutes. That's it. All right, and then they're done. And then we're going to go plate them, and you can do it from there. Now let's go back to our red pepper sauce. So we've got our red pepper and our eggplant done. Now we're going to bring it over, and I'm going to throw it into we're going to put it into a food processor, right, just like this. Just like that. Okay. Then from there, we are going to, now we're going to add, where are we? 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, 2 cloves of garlic, chopped up. All right. We're going to add in about a tablespoon or so of chopped cilantro. Okay. We're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of paprika. Now this is our favorite paprika. This is a Hungarian paprika that we like. That's kind of got some heat to it. So we're going to add that in there. And then we're going to add the juice and the zest of 1 lemon. All right. And you're probably, so there's half of it with the zest. And I didn't want to finish it because I wanted to show you guys how to zest. Because some people are saying, how do you zest? So use one of these, use like a microplane of any kind, all right? Or you can use a grater, and you're just rubbing on the skin of the lemon, and you can see the zest coming up. Can you see the zest? That's the zest. I've already pretty much zested this lemon as much as we're going to zest it today. It is zested out. All right, and then we're putting the rest of our lemon. The reason if you want to know why I'm holding my hand over and letting the juice drip down over through my hand, and that's why, you guys, because I get seeds, and that way my hands catch the seeds. All right, now let's throw in a little salt and pepper. Let's grab a little more salt and pepper. Salt, pepper. All right. We're going to put our food processor together. Okay. All right, and then we're going to pulse it until it's done. Now, the one thing. What's that?
I have to sneeze.
Oh, camera lady needs to sneeze. All right, that's it. That is all you're going to need to do. Now, we're going to take it off. Oh, it smells delicious. And I got a bowl for it. Let me grab I got a bowl for it. I got something here. And then you're just literally going to pour this dip into a bowl. And again, you can double this recipe. If you're having a lot of people over, I recommend that you double it. In fact, when I'll give you the recipe, I'll have it doubled for you. How's that? So you can make, because this, as you can see, that makes at least one bowl, which is not bad. Then I want to top it with a little, cilantro. And yes, you could serve it hot, or you could serve it cold. So you could make this in advance, and you could put it in the refrigerator, and you could serve it as a cold dip, or you could serve it as a hot dip. It's nice as a hot dip too. All right, and then you could serve it with some veggies. I've got some rainbow maybe carrots here. I got some bread. So there is our dip. This is a really nice dip too. I'll tell you. It's got some great flavor. Wow, the sweetness. Really nice. The eggplant, and you're getting the heat too at the same time. All right. And then our baked brie isn't quite done yet, but it is here in television land. And so what I have here is what the baked brie looks like when it's done. And hold on, I just want to find a place so we can. Yeah, no, I'm trying to swallow my carrot here. All right. And you can see what the brie looks like afterwards. So you take yourself a nice big piece of brie, right? And you just throw that on some bread, or you can put it on some fruit or whatever you want. Mmm. You know why I'm eating? People have told me not to eat. Our Thanksgiving meatballs. So we're going to just take our meatballs out when they're done, just like this, and we're going to just put them. You can just take your meatballs out and put them on a plate, just like that. And hang on one second. Get our meatballs out. Like that. Ouch. That is some hot meatballs, I'll tell you. Turn that off. Alright. So if you're looking for something that's a little different, a little cranberry in it, a little Thanksgiving-ish, we got you covered. I got more in there, I think. Maybe not. Well, I'm going to put more in. Anyways, let's put all the food out on the table so everybody can see what we're eating. So we have our meatballs. We have our baked brie that I've already broke it into. Alright. And then we have our eggplant and red pepper dip right here. Alright. Now, the one other little tip I wanted to give you guys is with all the social distancing that's going on, and if you are having some people over for Thanksgiving, you know what my wife and I do when we have people over, especially if I'm outside doing it, our show? We do individual plates. So we'll put a little plate together that has a little bit of each appetizer, and then each person has it. Alright, I think that is enough for today. Of course, I'll be back next Sunday, and we'll work on side dishes and desserts for Thanksgiving. But until then, until I see you next Sunday, make sure you stay happy, you stay healthy, and you stay safe. And I'll see you next week on Sunday Dinner with Chef Joe.